Hey everybody, first of all I would like to thank everyone who responded to yesterday's video and liked it and well just everything to do with it. I really do appreciate it. It's got me to now I'm making another video. I'm gonna do this every day. Over the weekend probably, I don't know. I'll figure it out what the next topic is. But today's topic is autism, specifically Asperger's. And I know some people are thinking from yesterday's video, it didn't seem like a real thing. Is he making it up? Did you read something and decide that's what it was? No. I have genetic evidence that it's in my family. My grandson is the poster child for what used to be known as Asperger's, and I'll get in and explain that now in a little bit. And I have a nephew who's also autistic, and it's like looking at myself when I was his age in the what goes on in his head. So, you know, that's why I heard about this about 5 years ago when Jonathan was diagnosed, my grandson. And when I looked it up, it just said it was a developmental disorder that people have with social awkwardness and stuff. It's a developmental disorder in which people didn't socialize correctly. I went, oh, well, no shit, that was my childhood. But I didn't really look into it any further. I kind of marked it off as, well, I'm highly functional, and that's that, because it said highly intelligent and highly functional. So I thought, eh. I have said this before that in my head, and mind you that when something is stuck in there, it's stuck in there until something jars it loose. In my head, highly functional meant that I was more functional than the average person, because then we'd be just averagely functional. That's not what that means. It means, and I saw the best way to describe this is that somebody like me is highly functional until they're not, and then they're not functional. There have been several periods in my life where that's happened. Right after high school, I can tell you that. I lived in a trailer on the side of the road only because a really, really, really good friend of mine was able to make that happen, or I would have been homeless the first time then. I went through the same thing I'm going through right now. I just shut down. But anyway, let's not get all into that. We will get into all that kind of stuff on future videos. Today's video is about what is autistic spectrum disorder and where do I fall in it. So the autistic spectrum disorder is a wide range. You have from the non-functional, which have to be institutionalized. They can't do anything. You know, they bang things against the wall, nonverbal, that type of thing. All the way up to people like me, who are very functional, very verbal, and highly intelligent, but don't think right, is really the best way to put it. I made notes because there's no way I was going to remember all of this. And if you see me glance over that way a little bit, it's because I'm used to staring at the picture, not the lens. I will get better with that over time. Also, the only equipment I have left that's functional is my Samsung A50 and, well, this microphone. No, I still have the digital camera, but my computer is down. So that's one of the first things I'm going to have to get fixed so that I can start editing things. Okay, so what used to be called Asperger's and now is just thrown into the spectrum? Well, these are people who have trouble making sense of the world, processing information, and relating to others. Sound like someone you know? They have a lot of trouble with social interactions. Awkward, you know, we have just completely awkward in a social situation. Anybody who's interacted with me socially can probably tell you that, unless I'm drunk. That seems to kind of slide things away. I don't know, I'm just social. I don't know if I'm socially awkward at that point, but I'm definitely social when I'm drunk. Body language. Can't read body language worth a shit. I mean, it's just, It's something I've gotten better with over the years, but when I think back, I used to be very, very bad at it. When to start or stop a conversation, or when is it your turn to talk? I'm always trying to, because I can't, it's just like, it wants to come right the hell out. Sensory overload. Now, this is one I did notice a lot before. I don't like bright lights. Sunshine makes, I would just do about anything to not be in the sun and have it shine in my eyes. So I'm very, speaking of, sensitive to light. I don't, I'll sit, this room is lit up right now because I'm making this video. The second it's over, these lights go off and I'll sit here with the night light and just the screen on, and that's more than bright enough for me. Sound, I used to be really, anybody who knew me in my high school years, I was never one of those guys who liked to listen to loud music, or in my 20s or something. I think the exception to that, of course, was going to concerts. And even then, after a while, it was just too much. But my ears would start to deaden out. And I think just between living and old age, that has gone away a bit. I'm not so sensitive to sound. Sudden sounds, however, you come up behind me and just clap or something like that, you can ruin my whole day by doing that. Textures of foods and certain tastes of foods. Peas. I won't eat peas. I can't eat peas. Not because of the way peas taste, because I'll eat split pea soup and I think it's the best thing ever. It's the texture. It makes me gag to put it in my mouth. There are certain smells that I cannot handle. Liver. You cook liver, I'm gone. I can't be in the room. I can't. Sensory and touch. Yeah, everything. I always, you're a pussy, because I would, ouch to everything, but it does hurt more. Also, another thing that we don't particularly care for is being touched out of the blue. If you just come up and touch me, now I'm not going to respond well, and it's kind of, you're going to see me jolt. It's like being hit with electricity. Now, there are certain people, I don't mind that they can touch me at any time as long as I know it's coming. But you come up and grab me from behind, I'm oof. Obsessed with complex topics. Do I really need to go any farther than that? Above average verbal skills. Above average IQ. And this is not a brag. It's been measured, and recently, actually, within the last 10 years, and I'm in the 99.9th percentile, which means out of a group of 1,000, only one person is probably going to have a higher IQ than I have. They're clumsy, and it's called dyspraxia, is one of the symptoms. I am... Oh, yeah. The things I have broken over my years. Oh, and Jana, if you're watching this, remember the glasses? Yeah. 5 racks of water glasses. Just before we opened up. It was fun having to break all the new stuff out of storage. Again, high functioning, which means that unlike a lot of people with autistic tendencies, well, I guess let me split them apart. High-functioning autism describes 2 different things. Autism, it's its own thing. Functionality is how you pass off for normal. That's exactly what it is. So functioning has nothing to do with the autism itself. The autism is a series of behaviors and wiring. It's all wiring. There's just nothing, my sister used to constantly ask me, what's wrong with you? Why can't you fix it? You can't. It's like asking somebody who doesn't play football to go become a professional quarterback. Either you have it or you do not. You can't make it. You can whittle some of these things down to where they're controllable, and that's about it. Oh, extreme focus. You ever try to shift me off a subject that I don't want to shift off of? Good luck. Won't happen. Never gonna happen, GI. And also the inability to process emotions correctly. No kidding. That one I deal with a lot. Either I don't feel the right emotion that should be with the thing, or the one that's easy to go to are the negative emotions. Those seem to be the ones I have the most control over, as in they control me. Since Prozac, which I was given after I was diagnosed with PTSD, makes a big difference. This last period that I've gone through would have been exponentially worse without the medication, because it keeps my mind from going to the dark places. But yeah. Now, what are the upsides? Because there are upsides. First of all, I kind of like to mention that there is good research now trying to indicate that not only is autism genetic in nature, although it could be triggered, you could trigger the genes, is some of the feelings, but it's evolutionary. And it makes sense when you think of when we were hunter-gatherers, then you know, these big old butch guys, you know, the normal way of thinking, it was good for that. When you think about the normal guy now, you know, especially out in the country, I'm going hunting, I'm going fishing, and they're wired for hunter-gatherer. We changed that. We became specialized. And it's no wonder that evolution would just come along and say, oh, you want specialized brains? Let's make one. Okay, so now we're going to go over the positives. And these are the things that are going to help me get this back on course. And by the way, tomorrow's video will be about the plan. Because I said I had a plan, and I need to share it if I'm asking people to come aboard. So tomorrow we'll go over what the actual plan is. But to finish up here, we got this whole list. Unique sense of humor. Really? Honest. I really, lying is hard. I can do it. I mean, we all can do it. I'm not real good at it, and I don't like doing it. I mean, it really bothers me. Desire to connect. It's still there, but I will say that the PTSD put a big hole in that. That would be the date of the incident is where I start to see the decline of me being around people. Anybody who knew me before 1993, you should know I hated being alone. Since 1993, I can't wait to be alone. I got to stop that because it's hiding. I'm hiding from people. And while the PTSD thinks that's safe, the autism is not functional with it, good with that. That's just bad for me. Fair and just. I don't think anybody out there can say that I am not fair and just. Intelligence, we covered. Special interest. So when people like me focus on something, it's the only thing that exists. Everything else fades away. So when you get a special interest, it's all you have. So that's part of the plan, is to get a lot of people to get me to do a lot of different things, and I'm doing different things with different people. I'm good with that. It'll still be within my special interest range, though. Really good memory, except when you're in autistic burnout, and then your memory goes to shit. Focus, same thing. That's kind of another one that's gone a little bit by the wayside. It's not that I can't focus, but sometimes thoughts just go away. And that's, like I said, actually I'll cover a little bit more of what autistic burnout is in a second. Okay, and detail-oriented. And anybody who knows me knows that I will bury myself in the details. To the point where a lot of things don't get done because they're not, some of the details are missing. me making these videos. I've been putting this off for months because they weren't perfect. I didn't have the perfect intro. I didn't have the perfect this. I didn't have the perfect that. You just got to start sometimes. And it's a hard thing to push through. Imperfection. Yeah. Ugh. I'm going to have to get over it. Big time. So what is autistic burnout? Well, anyone on the spectrum, from highly functional down to the non-functional, when you get to a point, well, this is especially for the higher functioning people. You, like I said, you're functional until you're not. And when you're not, you're not. And that's pretty much what this is. It's from trying to fit in for so many decades at this point and trying to be, you know, normal, trying to be like everybody else. And then just finally your brain says, nah, this is too stressful. This is not, nope. And what it does is it clears itself out. So that's why the memory goes. And you forget to do things like shower, brush your teeth, you know, the things that you have to do every day. Eat. I have forgotten to eat. That goes away, so your brain kind of shuts down and it takes the body with it. All of this stuff, of course, you can Google it, and it's plenty easy enough to research. And there it went. This is the kind of stuff I've been going through lately. So yeah, that's what I'm going through. It's just, you know. Now, the bright side is, from the research I've done, is that when you're like this, when I'm like this, neuroplasticity is at its highest. I am easily retrainable. That's what this project comes into. Think of it as a social experiment. I'm going to use the village to see if I can retrain myself and put myself on a path that mentally I'm happy with and yet still productive and etc. You know, I'm not done yet. I'm only 58 years old. I'm not ready to curl up and die yet. And if I don't do something, that's what's going to happen. Well, also some of the things that led to this particular burnout, besides just having a really crappy job that really messed with my head, I moved here to Edgewater, and now I own this place because my mom gave it to me. And so I own it. So I'm responsible for all the upkeep. Too much. It's way too. No. Would you give somebody who's autistic property to manage alone? Don't do it. So that's kind of where we're at here. I just kind of want to explain to everybody exactly what's going on. Like I said, tomorrow night's video will be about the plan itself, and it's going to be fun. So one of the things I didn't say yesterday when I asked everybody, you know, if you want to help, the purpose of all of it is fun. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing. I've spent way too much of my life doing things that I'm supposed to do and were absolutely no fun for me. They were nothing but stress. Now, if I'm going to make this work and cruise out the rest of my life as a happy person and a high-functioning person, which I'm not really right now, then I need to do things that I have interest in and that I find enjoyable and fun. One of the things I didn't say about the description is that people with Asperger's, when they are successful, they're usually successful in academia. And completely makes sense. The absent-minded professor, that type of thing. I think we've all seen people like me in academia. My problem was I didn't get steered in that direction at an early age, and now, yeah, it's kind of a little late. However, I can educate online. There are plenty of YouTube sites that educate you about various different things. Well, I'm kind of getting into the plan. So we'll save that for tomorrow night. And besides that, holy crap, this is 20 minutes long, and that's long enough. So Until tomorrow, take care of yourselves.